All right, here we are. We are going to resume development again of OpenArthurianX6. We are getting close to the first milestone being finished based on this plan. There are some things that have changed along the way. Um, Basically, Camilo, the other member of the team, is going to be working more on this project the upcoming month because of some changes on his plans. So, and I will be able to work on it more as well. So it looks like we will be able to have the milestone 2 finished pretty soon. Um, for the milestone 1, what we are missing is, and I think this is actually a bit outdated because the last time we managed to implement the range attacks, the enemies doing the range attacks. So this is working right now. You can see it here. Let's go and take a look. Well, that's Chamino joining us. And there are some enemies around here that we're going to meet. So as you can see, well, there we go. We were attacked by a crossbow welding soldier. He's on the back of the formation. The other ones have spears. So in order to do that, we have to implement some changes so that uh, the um, the mobs that are created in the level have equipment because they need bolts to actually use their crossbows. But overall, it was pretty easy or pretty simple because the whole model of ranged weapons and spending ammunition was already on, and it really paid off to have this single model for for the player party members, and the enemies and everyone in the world basically sharing the same class. So that's very helpful. And that means that this pending thing here is actually done. Um, and of course, we also have to implement a simple range enemy AI in order for them to know whether they should walk towards the target or shoot, well, Chamina die, or whatever. Some other thing that we had pending, if I see the last post here, was fixing some bugs. Actually, Camilo already went in and fixed them, most of them. We also found out that this conflict between party members and friendly NPCs is no longer happening. As you can see here, we have a friendly NPC. This rat is just an animal, and we cannot control it in combat, which is something that was happening at some point. But in any case, that's no longer happening. So Camilo's been working on this, and I've actually got a couple pull requests from Camilo that I'm going to review live here. The first one is showing the party on the UI and display their health. So the idea with this is being able to see how much hit points you have for each party member. We've been doing some review on this, and I think Camilo just did the last part of the change. So basically what we did here, if we check all the changes, is we created a new UI component called party status. Whenever we add the mob to the party, a mob to the party, we also add the mob to this component, and we are also adding the player to that component. And this component is being initialized here. Well, okay, this is another change we did to move around the this label for the current mode of the game somewhere else, so because that's where the party status component will be instead. And what we're doing here is that we are updating this component along with the whole UI. So whenever they say change, this component is updated. And the component basically, what it does is it draws some lines, um, some bars rather, for the health and the back of the health and the current health, and also a sprite, which for now is the just one of the sprites that are used in the mob. In the future, it will be a portrait when we export that. We should actually add that somewhere. Um, the Trello is a bit unorganized now. I think I start organizing this by milestones. So in any case, let's add this here. Add portrait for mobs slash and then party members. We need to do that at some point soon. Um, what else do we have here? Well, is reordering the party members. And I think I had actually already gone over all these. So we are going to go ahead and merge this. And then let's see, let's test this. So we're going to update the master. And let's build again. So that was in code review, and it's now done. Well, it's in QA because we are going to check how it works. So let's see. It's finished building. Let's see how it works. Well, I wonder if it's cached. Sometimes it happens. Yes, there was a cache issue. So as you can see here, we have our status. Anyways, let's go and join with Chamino. And there he is. And let's go into combat. As you can see also, the current mode has moved to below the skybox. All that will be, customizable. So I think I have a lot of HP, which is why I'm not feeling the hits. I forgot how to fire. Maybe T. Yes. Chamino has a crossbow, so dead. Apparently, I'm a tank. But as you can see, I have already received some damage. Yes, you can see there that the bar is going down. It's a bit hard to see behind versus the forest background, but it's there. No. Conversations triggering in the middle of combat. I don't think that's good. Right. For some reason, I abandoned combat mode And Chamino attacked the poor rat. That's not good. And everybody's frozen. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, probably because after leaving the dialogue mode, it is set back to exploration mode. Um, so yeah, let's first put some detail here. After leaving dialogue mode, exploration mode is triggered. Combat is left on wrong state. And also NPCs, party members are killing or are attacking, um, I don't know, maybe neutral mobs while trying to follow the player on exploration mode. But yeah, now that we're here, let's resume combat and attack this guy. I want to have Chamino attack. Yeah, as you can see, Chamino has much less hit points, and we can see the background of the bar here. He's dead. Okay. Okay, this is working, so let's put this on done. The other one that what we have here is a crash on game over. So yeah, let's have them kill ourselves because we were having a crash there. So we're going to die and see how it works. Kill me. So what we implemented, well, but is that already merged? Okay, so this is the crash. Let me see if it was merged. Okay, so I think it was partially merged. We were missing this thing, or maybe, okay. I'm not sure if this is really to merge. Well, there's a conflict here for one thing because of the party status. Uh-huh. So this one will have to be reviewed by Camilo. By Camilo. All right. So that one's still outstanding. We will not merge that one. That's the only one that we have there. Okay. Now, the other thing that we have pending is this one that was detected while we were fixing that, because when the whole party dies, the mobs continue moving around, so we need to stop them from doing that. And then we have these two things. Just to complete this plan, we need to, when you're in combat, after 2 turns, a trigger happens, right? And then we are transported to another map. So that's work in progress that I have here. So let me check it really quickly because I forgot. Um, all right. So it should be here. So what I was doing first was like trying to model how this is supposed to look from the data perspective. So the idea is that uh, when we are fighting a NPC, after he's gone over a given value of turns in combat, then something will happen. And I was initially thinking that we may like actually see the special attack here, but I'm going to reconsider that and just trigger um, the like I forgot the name of that. I mean, it's like a cutscene, but it's much simpler. It's the same that you see when you're starting the game. Um, so instead of doing this, we're going to just show this scene. All right. So this is the definition for Astaroth, which is like one of the NPCs that is there fighting. And what we are doing here is we are adding these triggers uh, attribute, and it's going to control like actions related to that NPC. Um, in this case, every time he does move in combat, it's going to check if it has an active combat turns over trigger, and then increase the value, and then see if it's over these thresholds, then it's going to trigger this. Um, I'm trying to follow the same model that we had for some other triggers. So, for example, I forgot what they are, but let's look for them. No. Okay, because in the dialogues we have something similar. We have uh, conditions, and based on this condition, the whole dialogue is selected. So it's similar to what we want with the triggers, because with the triggers we will also have a condition. Um, in this case, these different types of conditions are defined by these, whether it has a flag attribute or something like that. Most of the conditions here are flag based, or all of them right now. But in theory, there may be different types of conditions. What we do have here, now that I remember, is that inside the dialogue, there may be different kinds of actions happening, and these actions are defined by the type of this object in the dialogue array. So, for example, this dialogue, when you use the surrender keyword when talking with this NPC, it will first check if this condition is true. That is, if this NPC knows that I'm the avatar or something just in game. If I don't know, then this dialog triggers, and this dialog contains four pieces. So the first one is a special kind of dialog, which is a dialog interruption. So basically, you are talking with the NPC, but another one talks. In this case, Shamino. Then another special kind of dialog, which is an event. So basically, this is represented by no one talking, just like something happening inside the dialog. Then a normal dialog piece, and then an action called setFlag, which basically sets this flag to true. So that the next time you use the surrender keyword, in this case, this flag will be set to true. So this whole dialog will be skipped, and instead this one will be used. So I'm looking forward to have something similar with these triggers. So we will have a condition which is represented by this type, and then we will have an action which is similar to this. So in the end, the action will be being transported to other map, but we will do something temporary just to know that the trigger is being triggered. And I don't know what to do. Maybe I will just the uh, debug event. So what we are going to do here is just console type console value trigger, right? And then whenever a mob moves, sorry. So we're going to go to the mob class, and we have an act function, and we want to know if we are on combat mode, right? So if this is not the player, because the player will not have triggers, but we want to know if we are in combat. Um, So if this mob is a party member and we are in combat, we delegate the selection of the action to the UI because we are controlling the players. So for now, let's not include the that's tricky. I mean, the act function doesn't really act. What it does is prompting the mob to act, basically selecting an action. If we see here, what we are doing after these checks is checking the intent of the mob. So basically, this is where a very simple artificial intelligence is modeled. Mm, so, for example, here we are resolving this action to move into a given place, like a random place. Here we are resolving uh, this this action to move into another place, but not random. Wait, not random. Okay, so it's cascading down. So if we the intent of this mob is combat, then we find a target. But if there's no target, we just move randomly. But if there is a target, then we resolve to bump towards a position or a target or attacking a position from a range. This is where what I just mentioned about the simple AI for range attacks AI. So I'm wondering where to put this check because what I'm going to do is set a function which will be called what is the name of this condition here? Combat turns over. So something with combat turn. So something like record combat turn or on combat turn. Let's call it like this for now. And here we're going to check if the mob has on combat turns over triggers. So if this the triggers, let's first check if there's a trigger at all. Right. Then let's look for the triggers because potentially there may be more than one. And then let's check. So we are going to also need to keep account of the combat turns. So if the trigger dot value or if the combat turns are over or equal to the trigger value, then we're going to execute the action. Execute trigger action. And we are going to send the whole trigger because in theory, well, there could be more than one types of action. And this function will receive the trigger, and if the trigger type is a console, then it will do a console.log with the trigger dot okay value, but it's not a trigger. Execute trigger actions and trigger actions for each action We are going to check if the action type is console, and if it is, then just change the value. And we are going to rename this to actions. And the last thing that we need to do is either adding these triggers to the actual mob when it's created based on the NPC definition, or somehow referencing them. I think we will have to add them, and then we can remove them, because after executing the actions, we probably need to remove the trigger. So we need to mark this trigger as triggered, and then we need to filter that. Um, right. Okay. All right. So we need to create this. So in the mob factory, or the NPC factory, let's see where it makes more sense. Uh, for now, let's put it on the NPC factory. Then we will see if it makes sense to put that on the mob factory as well. So if the definition has triggers, like in this case, then we are going to press the mob. So we need to do a I wonder if a shallow copy will suffice. I think it should suffice, because we are not actually going to modify the trigger object, just the a list of them. So let's do a shallow copy. Just a slice. Optional. This should be enough. Okay. What else? That should suffice. Let's put some debugging things for now. Here. Oh, what? We need to call this. So I was deciding where to call this. Um, so I think it makes sense to do it after this happens. The problem is that we are returning a promise here, and wrapping that may be a bit troublesome, or not. So we return a promise. Move to, we are using move to, and also tag to position and bump towards. It could, like, hmm, like wrap all of this inside the promise, and then do the other call. Mm, and that may look more elegant if I move that to another method. So let's try that. Mm, what else will I need? This, nearby target, response, this, nearby target. Okay, so all of this is going to be moved to a combat action. function which receives nearby target. Wait, what? Okay. Oh, so the nearby target is defined there. That's better because I don't need to receive anything. And this is always resolved into a promise, so that's good. And I needed to do this because I'm going to change this with the call to onCombat so that it can do that afterwards. That should suffice, most probably. So I'm going to add some debugging here on combat turn. And another question is if this should ever reset. For now, let's not reset it. Let's just add an initial value of 0 here. Table, build, and let's see if it worked. We probably should, for this test, put the Arthurian closer. We don't have to do this all the time. I wonder if it's going to work first. So here, okay, and there was an error here for some reason. On combat, the triggers didn't get plumbed. That's interesting. So the definition is from the NPC definitions. And here we have the triggers. Okay, but not for all of them, of course. So we need to make a change here. We need to, first off, let's screw up with this. Okay. We need to make sure that, I think the easier way we need to put it here. Okay. Rebuilding. And I'm actually going to put them closer. Oops. Especially after. So let's, one problem that I have right now with tile is that I'm unable to cherry pick or use that tool that lets you see what the current tile is. I haven't been able to find that out. Maybe it's just me, but maybe, no, this is different. Anyways, let's just add another asteroid. So we're going to delete Chamino from here. We're on the maps layer, so goodbye Chamino, and let's add Astaroth. So he's somewhere around here. Let's see. Short soldier, Astaroth. Astaroth is coming here. Save. We have two Astaroths now, but that should be no issue. Reveal. This is so that we don't have to walk all the way to them and go over Chamino's conversation every time, because that's not what we're testing. So revealing. Okay. But you know what? I'm going to also add another soldier so that we can debug this kind of thing. Click, save, and revealed. Another cache issue. So let's wait for this to finish building, and then we can retry. Okay. All right. So that worked. We can see the enemy there, the enemies there, and let's check the console. Combat turns. Okay, something happened here, but I think okay. I did. Gosh, I did not mean find there, but filter here. Filter. Um, Another reveal. I still don't have a proper pipeline for refreshing the build or the package every time it changes introduced. So it takes much longer than it should. Okay. Okay. Step by step. Execute trigger action typo. Building again. All right. So we see here that the trigger was triggered, so that worked. This is just what we needed. After a single turn, the trigger was triggered, and then more turns were recorded, but it no longer has an effect. Okay, now recording combat turn for this soldier. The soldier has no triggers, right? Because we only affected um, the NPC factory. So let's go ahead and just put this here, and that should fix it. So, all right, this is running a bit long, so get just another development session of OpenArthurianX6. We get closer to the milestone 1 release. Today we managed to do this, implement triggers in combat by number of turns. Next time, or maybe it will be done offline, I will do the changes to transport the party to another map, to a different map, as an outcome of the trigger instead of just playing the something in the console. Um, which is that would be like the final thing. So once the milestone 1 is developed, a big bunch of this initial part of the plan that is on the blog will be working. So basically, all this will be working. All this first part of the game, and we will be transported to the Iola's hut. Then in there, we will be able to interact with a lot of items. So Camilo already started working on this look command, and the first thing that I will be doing before even doing all the interaction things is the saving the game. We need to solve that part as early as possible in the development so that it's not a nightmare afterwards. And so that's what we're going to do. I hope you enjoyed this session, and I'll see you again later.